There's pandemonium as we're here with the champion of the national squirt gun competition. Let's see if we can get a word in with them. Steve, how were you able to do this? Why? Why did you win the national squirt gun competition?
Because I wanted it.
Why? Why did you win this fight that nobody on the planet gave you?
His mother.
In what way?
God bless her heart.
Why do most people persevere? Answer's easy: sex. Well, how can you say that, Steve? That sounds a little bit cynical. Well, if you think about it, you persevere to provide for your children, provide for your family. For the average person, that's, I would think, why they persevere, or at least what they're doing with their life for the average adult raising a family. But think about if there was no sex, there would really probably be no relationships, let alone children. But there would be no relationships, because what is a relationship or marriage? It's like, if we weren't meant to be having sex or in marriages or relationships, there wouldn't really be this men and women divide. We would never, I don't think, ever have seen it. We would just have hang out with people that are a little bit different. Think about like racism and seeing people for differences. Wow, your skin pigment's dark. Wow, you don't have a penis. These are things I don't like. I mean, what kind of freak show are you? I didn't even like, racism and stuff. Like, I grew up in a colorless household. Everything was black and white. I grew up around people of no color, bland, colorless. Then I met a person of color when I took acid. Just pretty silly. Until that Charleston stuff, I didn't really even know what a racist was. I kind of thought it was a man who knew a lot about races. Oh, look, he's a very accomplished racist. Or a guy who runs a lot of races. Look at that racist go! But that's pretty amazing to me that, hello, I'm born. Do you have a penis? No. Okay, I'm going to look different than you. Do you have pigment in your skin? No. If you didn't have the pigment and if you didn't have the penis, that's what all these white supremacist signs should say. They should all just wear shirts that say pigment penis. Started talking about something at the beginning of this before the pigment penis racist nonsense. And what was that? Oh, sex. So, marriage. If you were going to have relationships and sex didn't exist, if somehow it didn't exist or we weren't wanting it, well, if you wanted it but it didn't exist, how could that relationship, what is a relationship? What is a marriage? What is a relationship? This is someone I play with. We mostly play sexually. What happens when you take all that sexually away? Well, then what do? Hopefully you can talk, at least for a little while. I think that's what kind of happens when the sexually goes away. You start out young and wanting sex because you think that's somehow a sign of something. You grow up and you want sex, and then you get married and you have sex, and then you don't want it anymore, and you just want to be alone looking for sex. I'm not the first person to say that, but I don't know what you'd all do with your significant others or something if there was no sex. I know what I'd do. I'd make them listen to this stuff and give me some feedback, because, listen, I'm not here for the subscribers and the views. That's what I'm here for. I'm here because I need to put something out there. As I said many times, I'm in rural, freezing Michigan. I'm not in New York City now. So I'm cornered. I don't have the stage time, which is crucial to my life and my mental health. So I'm cornered and have to start doing this. I've seen some people doing podcasts, or I've listened to some. I just don't get, like, someone was saying, how do I get 1,000 subscribers on my podcast that I just started? What are you saying? I'm not trying to come. I just do something that you like to do. And you know what I love to do every day? I love to collect 1,000 subscribers. For what? Well, it doesn't matter. When I was young, I sold magazines, then cookies, then magazines again. As long as I'm attaining subscribers, I love subscriptions. If this disappears one day, you'll know that I'll either have found my stand-up avenue, or I'll have thrown my computer out the window. But I'm not saying this is anything. Believe me, I know I'm talking fast, and I'm just trying to generate some material. So it's not good of me to denigrate any podcast. But if you want to hear someone talking fast and trying to make a point, man, I listen to some of these, and it's like 3 people in a room, and there's just dead silence, and I just want to go in there and just throw the table over. No one's ever interviewed me for a podcast in my life. And I've heard so many times from people, you'd be really good on a podcast. Go shove it out your blowhole. You should do voiceover work. You got a great voice for voiceover work. I know it. What are you talking about? Think I don't think of these things? You ever think of doing a one-man show? Well, I thought of doing an 11-man show. I should just take one of the ones off there. That is a confusing number, 11. Which one comes first? If you have an emergency in an office, you got to dial 911. Some alphabets have more than 26 letters. Isn't that what the English alphabet has? 26 letters? Some have a lot more than 26 letters. What words are we missing is what I want to know. Are we missing colors too? Are we missing scents? How do they have so many more letters to create these words? Steve Rossi, disappointment is charged.